To the licensing panel meeting. We have to go through the formalities first of all. Item 1 on the agenda is membership of the panel. I'm Councillor Eric Firth and I'll be chairing this meeting today.
I'm Councillor Alex Vickers and I'm on the panel.
You need to make a positive decision to continue to as well. So just
Yes, normally there are 3 members of this panel, but we are quorate with 2 members sitting today. Item 2 on the agenda, minutes of the previous meeting. I will move those as a true record. That's seconded. Thank you very much. Item 3, declarations of interest. I have none. And
no, I have not.
Item 4, admission of the public. Welcome. Welcome today, on the public. And item 5, deputations, petitions.
None received.
Thank you. Item 6, public question time.
None received, Chair.
Right. Item 7, application of Kirklees. Though I believe, before we do go any further, you may wish to make a statement, I believe.
So, yeah, I believe there's a preliminary issue.
Do you want to put your microphone on?
So there's a preliminary issue here with reference to the hearing. We was, as a firm, RK solicitors instructed very late in the day with reference to representing in this hearing today. And an application was made for an adjournment so as to seek more time to prepare for this hearing, because clearly it's a very important hearing, it's a business, it's somebody's livelihood, and my name was put forward as a representative at this hearing, and my clients were told previously who were not able to represent them, people who were on the licensing panel, and their names had been put forward, and my client was advised that these individuals are not able to represent them. But when my name was put forward, there was no mention that there was no objections to me or my firm representing these clients today in this hearing, in this hearing for this application. Now, when I was approached, I did take into consideration the possibility of a conflict of interests, but given that this Gomerson Lodge is not in my ward, and given that they required legal representation, I didn't see that there was a specific conflict of interests in me performing my duties as a counsellor or in me performing my duties as a solicitor to them, because it's not in relation to my ward and it's not going to affect my ability to perform my duties in my ward. So I stand by that. I stand by the fact that I don't believe there's a conflict of interests in me representing my clients today. However, I would still seek an adjournment and further time to prepare, because although we have taken some steps to prepare for this hearing today, being a solicitor and realizing the importance of this application and the importance of this license for this venue, I do realize that we need to do everything within our means to represent them to the best of our ability. And in order to do that, we would have needed a little bit more time, because I have asked for evidence from the venue, which would have needed further time and effort to gather. We've done the best we can in case we have to proceed, but we do respectfully request for an adjournment in the interests of fairness and justice. Thank you.
David, would you like to come in? In your opinion, is there clearly a conflict of interest?
yeah, I understand what the councillor is saying, or the member is saying, about it not being business directly relating to his ward responsibilities, but nevertheless we're in a situation where we have an application that's being brought by the council that on paper is being opposed by a member of the very same council. So that would be where there would be a potential for conflict of interest to arise. We do have a number of members who are solicitors, and it's one thing that they have to understand and be very clear about, is if they're doing anything that puts them in opposition in their day job as a solicitor to the council, be that with relation to something like this or housing or anything, that there is a conflict of interest there and they do need to step away. Now, there's nothing wrong with Councillor Cahoot's firm being involved. It's really just there needs to be a little bit of clear water between him as a councillor and him as a solicitor.
Thank you for that. But given, and we accept that, we take that on board, and we'd like to proceed by way of the application for adjournment. However, I think it's a little bit unfortunate that it has been over a week. I have been liaising with the licensing officer involved in this matter. There has been issue of conflict of interests with other possible representatives who turned out to be on the licensing panel, and it's a little bit unfortunate that we've been required to attend here today before this has been raised again. It could quite easily have been raised prior to this, and I think things could have been dealt with a little bit better, both by myself, perhaps by inquiring a little bit further into that if there's any issues, and also by the licensing officer saying we've already objected to Councillor X, Y and Z who's on the panel, and we have the same reservations of yourself. So it's a little bit unfortunate, and I apologise to all those people who attended today and got ready and prepared for a hearing and were hoping for an outcome. It's a little bit unfortunate. I think everyone could have done things a little bit better, a little bit differently, but I'm going to have to ask for an adjournment and then brief another member of staff to attend on my behalf to represent in this hearing. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Coe. That you've had to turn up today, but we got another day. 27th. Yeah. So the next scheduled hearing for the licensing panel is on the 27th of this month. Hopefully you'll be able to attend there. So adjournment granted. And for this part of the licensing meeting, it's closed. everyone, and good morning, Mr. Anand. I hope I've got your name right. Right, thank you. We're here today to consider the application for full variation of a premises licence at Fennybridge Stores, 17 Penistone Road, Fennybridge, Huddersfield, HD8 OAS. First of all, I'll introduce myself. I'm Councillor Rick Firth. I'll be chairing this meeting today. And my colleagues are?
Councillor Donna Bellamy, Home Valley North Ward. Councillor Alex Vickers, Crosslandmore and Netherton.
And our legal officer?
I'm David Stickley. I'm one of the solicitors that works for the council.
And our licensing officers?
My name's Lee Rushworth. I'm a licensing officer.
My name's Fiona Goldsmith. I'm the group leader for licensing.
I'm Alexandra Gary. I'm an environmental health officer with the pollution and noise control team.
And clerk in this meeting today is?
Jenny Bryce-Chan.
Thank you, everyone. Can I remind you that this meeting is being webcast, and so you'll all have to behave yourself. Okay. Have you all received a copy of the way we conduct this meeting? Yeah? Good. Can I now invite the licensing officer to outline the application?
Thank you, Chair. On the 5th of May 2025, the Licensing Department received a full variation application for Fennybridge Stores, 17 Penistone Road, Fennybridge, Huddersfield, HD8 OAS. A copy of the application can be found at Appendix A. A copy of the current premises licence can be found at Appendix B. I can confirm consultation has taken place in accordance with the requirements set out in the Licensing Act 2003. I can also confirm that a total of 7 representations have been received from responsible authorities and members of the public during the 28-day consultation period. A copy of the representations received can be seen at Appendix C. Members need to consider the statutory guidance issued by the Secretary of State under Section 182 of the Licensing Act 2003. As the representations relate to 3 of the licensing objectives, members are drawn to Section 2 of this guidance. The relevant sections of the guidance can be seen at Appendix D. When determining the application, members, having regard to any representations, may take such steps as they consider appropriate for the promotion of the licensing objectives. These steps are the grant of the application, the application with appropriate conditions, exclude the scope of any licence, any of the licensable activities which relate to the application, or reject the application. Thank you.
Thank you. Have you spoken to the objectors and the applicant to see if any compromise can be made? Because I'm looking at this 24-hour licence aspect.
I have. So the application was received on the 5th of May. Initially, I had conversations with potential objectors before any objections came through, and I spoke to the applicant to make him aware that we are likely to receive objections. He voluntarily agreed to reduce his hours to 2 a.m. I then received further objections, official objections, from Environmental Health, who had requested that the hours be drawn back to midnight, between 7:30 in the morning to midnight. I spoke to the applicant. Again, he agreed. I then had other conversations with councillors and objectors. He agreed again to withdraw the application or bring it back to midnight. I then informed the applicant again that we've still got representation objections. The applicant then asked, because he is currently open from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m, but the licence that he inherited doesn't actually allow him to sell alcohol until 8 a.m. He asked if those 2 hours could be covered by the licence. I explained to the majority of to all of the objectors that there was the request, and the majority of the objectors withdrew. However, I did still have at least one objector, meaning it would have to go to a hearing. When I explained this to the applicant, he requested that the original application be heard, the full 24-hour application. For that, so we did the 28-day consultation period again, and that is the reason why we're here today with the full 24-hour application.
Thank you, Mr. Rushworth. Are there any more questions? Well, thank you. Can I now invite, I've got to get this name right, Ananth, Mr. Ananth, to make your case, please.
So usually I'm trying to open 24 hours, and the reason behind my shop got small space to filling up. So if another 11 hours if I open it, I can't fill it up, and a lot of customers ask for it. Open 20 hours, especially the taxi driver, the people working on the night shift. So many people asking because there are no shops. So that's the reason I thought to open it 24 hours. That's the main reason I opened it. The objectors, they said pollution, sound pollution, but I don't think that much pollution will come down there because of the people coming on electric car, hybrid cars nowadays. So and the drug dealings, people smoking weeds and all things. I live on the property 3.5 years in myself. So there are no people smoking drugs, but apart from the 3 kids, so they're the people eventually selling drugs around there. So they've been arrested. Eventually, I report the police with the evidence. So they got arrested. So I support many cases. If you can check cross-checking with the police, so many cases I helped it, but they're not standing over anymore. And they complain at the customer people using the toilet, urinate on the backside. And thing is, the car which they have a free toilets. Fenibridge store having a free toilet, and the shop customer, they don't go to the backside for the urinate. So probably the kids who hanging around the backside, they may pass the urine on there, but it's not the shop customers or any other people. And another complaint, they said the customer, when the pub is closed, they may come back again. So in my experience, I've been there 4 years, the pub customers not really come and buy alcohol in my shop during the time, because the harvest is very expensive. They are eventually the high-level customers for the harvest. In the Fenibridge pub is mostly the family, it's like a family setup pubs. So the family, 10 o'clock, Fenibridge pubs go quiet. But the harvest stay busy on the night time, but they not coming back, or they not coming by in the shop and like that. Because I've been experienced 5 years, I work in the night time shop in London. So I never had an experience like that. And people said people come around outside shouting and all things. It's never happened. It's never happened in the shop around where people standing and shouting. And they're using a phone loud and all things. I checked 3 shops in Huddersfield before I made application. One in Aspley 24 hours, one in Millsbridge, and one in Far Town Premier Shop. So eventually myself, I go night time after I close the shop 11 o'clock. I around there and check is any other problems coming. I never see anyone coming with a big loud music or big noisy or anything like that. That's why I'm telling. So I'm trying to get a 24 hours license. If the thinking still is a big issues, I'm happy to do 6 a.m. till 11 p.m. including 365 days. But at the moment I go only 8 a.m. to open it. And Christmas and New Year Day, every year I need to apply for the temporary event notice. So.
Thank you very much. Do you mention that you live above the premises?
I used to, 3.5 years I lived it, but I moved to 7 Bridgeton Avenue now.
So the upstairs is vacant for now?
It's empty now.
Yeah.
And eventually under the shop, where the shop door is, my house is on upstairs. So when the people come at night time, the parking, they're going to park in front of the shop. Because the next neighbors, they have their own cars, so they're parking on the car park. Customer not going to park the car there. So obviously, they're going to park in front of the shop, which is, I live in upstairs. I used to live in upstairs. So that property is empty now, nobody is there.
Won't be disturbing anyone there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And nearby is no houses, because it's across the road, and he living on the hill up the road, and other houses too far away.
Thank you, Mr. Anna. Would you like any questions, Ollie? Right, so there's no questions from our colleagues to the applicant. Objectors, it's your opportunity to make representations.
Would it be possible for that, we all see that's the image there, put that on the TV, because it just shows where I live, basically. Oh, sorry. If you can see where the location of the shop is, I live at the house directly behind it. So I don't know if you can get that on the screen or not. But
Is that immediately above,
that's
on
the
top
new,
of the hill?
the new build, well, it's not a new build house, we've been
big
there
house
for
on the
6
top.
years, but it's immediately behind the shop. As the crow flies, it's about 30 yards from my front door to the front of the shop, over the roof.
Right.
Okay, so that's just to set the scene for where I am. He says nobody lives there. The first question I would want to ask Annan, and this is not a personal thing, Annan, we get on quite well, who does this benefit? Because it certainly doesn't benefit the people who live there, and because most of the people who live there are your objectors. There is no community to serve there. It's a main road location. So the only people that's going to be coming and going there all night are going to be people who are going to be arriving in either lorries or cars. And can I assure you, I can hear every lorry that arrives outside that house from 6 o'clock in the morning till 11 o'clock at night, because all you can hear is the engines chugging over, the air brakes, the sound of the banging of the doors, and conversations. We hear it all. The shop, when we lived there, I've lived next to that shop for 36 years, never any trouble with it. So, but what I can tell you, we do tolerate it between 6 a.m. and 11 p.m. The hours have already been extended from when Anand took it over. The second thing is, and I would ask him to answer this question honestly, if he was still living there with his wife and 3 children, would he still be making this application? Because I would doubt he would, because his kids and him and his wife would not get a wink of sleep all night. Because that's exactly what you can see the width of the pavement. Every goods vehicle has used that to pull up on day and night. It's a big wide pavement, so it's ideal for them to pull up on. They sometimes sit there half an hour while they're ticking off their tachographs or whatever, while they're taking the breaks. We hear the engines just ticking away all night. That's the first thing. He's not serving a local community, so the only people who's going to come to the shop, as I say, are people in using transport. The second thing is, he says there's been no trouble in the lane. That's untrue. Ask him why he put CCTV up there, because that's what he's put up the side of the lane, because he was getting antisocial behaviour up there. It's still happening. I walk down every morning and get a paper in his shop. As I say, it's not a personal thing. Every morning I pick up rubbish, and that rubbish includes all sorts of things, condoms, vapes, drug paraphernalia. It happens. And our fear is that we're going to attract the wrong sort of people to this shop, or we're going to go up that little unlit lane where we live and cause us problems, even more problems than we've got already. As I say, we live with the shop, we tolerate the shop, but I think this is one step too far. I think it's a very unreasonable and unfair request that he's making.
Councillor Monroe.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I just want to say, first of all, that I've always found Anand very amenable. So thank you for that, Aman. And I did go and speak to you about this when you first applied. But unfortunately, you've gone ahead with the second application because it couldn't be agreed. So I just want to say, our area is a peaceful residential place. We're having a large social housing development due to be built in the next 12 to 18 months on the opposite side of the road, 50 metres away. And in addition, we've got 68 new houses currently being built at Whitegates Grove, about half a mile further along Penistone Road. Just to retouch on the element of antisocial behaviour, we do have an element of antisocial behaviour in the area, and I know there's been drug taking on the Greenway. We have a local PCSO doing a patrol on there every so often, and I sometimes walk on there myself just to make sure there's nothing, nobody doing anything bad. I have concerns about the shop opening throughout the night. As the resident here has said, you know, currently it's not serving the local community, but there will be people who will be travelling to this shop. They'll be parking in front of the shop where the pavement's wide enough to do so. And there's a whole, as you can see, it's a row of terrace cottages with houses at the back and a detached house on the other side of Mount Pleasant Lane. It will cause complete disruption to those people's lives with cars and whoever, vans and motorbikes turning up to buy alcohol. I think it's wholly unnecessary to be serving alcohol during the night. You know, I'm not sure it's benefiting anybody, and I do worry about, you know, when we do get these new housing developments built, that people will be coming, you know, across in the night to buy alcohol. I think there's a risk there, and I really, from that perspective, I really don't feel it should be granted. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Monroe. Can I ask Environmental Health if they have anything to say on this matter?
Good morning. The reason for our objection is that residents in the vicinity of the proposal on Penistone Road are likely to have their sleep disturbed. Noise from customers arriving in cars, revving engines, customers sat on their phone in their cars as the car acts as an amplifier and makes a phone call audible meters away from the car, and which is likely to transfer to the residents' houses indoors. Also noise from customers on their phones outside the shop, congregating on the street and in the vicinity of the shop, talking or shouting on their phones and to the people that they are visiting the shop with. Disrupted sleep is a pervasive problem with numerous contributing factors, from lifestyle and environmental factors to psychosocial issues. Sleep is vital to most major physiological processes, and as such, sleep disruption has vast potential for adverse short and long-term health consequences in otherwise healthy individuals, as well as those with underlying medical conditions. In healthy individuals, short-term consequences include a heightened stress response, pain, depression, anxiety and cognition, memory, and performance deficits. In adolescents and children, disrupted sleep can lead to poor school performance and behaviour problems. This is the reason why we object to the 24-hour proposal. Thank you.
I note that there's no objection from the police on this issue.
Yeah, that's correct. Consultation did take place with all the responsible authorities, and West Yorkshire Police didn't make representation.
Right, thank you. And I note that a lot of the objectors have withdrawn their initial objections.
They did do in the initial consultation period. However, the majority of the original objectors submitted their representation again within the new consultation period once the applicant decided to go back to his original 24-hour.
I understand. They withdrew them because if they thought that it was withdrawing the original application for the shorter opening hours.
Correct.
Thank you. Any questions? Could I ask the applicant and all officers on objections to withdraw, please, while the panel consider this application? Could you please step outside, Mr. Adnan? Thank you. I trust we haven't kept you waiting too long outside. The panel has come to a decision, and I will read it out, and you will get a copy of this at a later stage in writing. At today's hearing, the panel considered both verbally and in writing information which outlined an application received for the full variation of a premise. There's a speller in there, but that's why I hesitated. For the full variation of a premises licence in respect of Fennybridge Stores, 17 Penniston Road, Fennybridge, Huddersfield, HD8 OAS. In reaching its decision, the panel has due regard to the provisions of the Licensing Act 2003, the statutory guidance issued under Section 182 of the Act, the Council Statement of Licensing Policy and the relevant provisions of the Human Rights Act. The Licensing Subcommittee considered the report presented and representations received relating to the following licensing objectives: the prevention of public nuisance, public safety, and prevention of crime and disorder. Therefore, in respect of the aforementioned application, the panel has considered representations from the applicant, objectors, and environmental health, and have considered the licensing hours of other premises and decided to grant the application, but not as applied for, but with the following hours: 6 a.m. to 12 p.m, 7 days a week.
Sorry, that should be 12 a.m.
6 a.m. to 12 a.m, not 12 p.m. Yes, yes, midnight. 7 days a week. The decision you will receive will be confirmed in writing. Thank you. This meeting closed. 6 till 12.
Yes,
Yes.
7 days a week. 6
Yes.
6 a.m. to midnight.
Thank you. Meeting closed.